Hello, it is me, the very unprofessional wrestler, Justy. Going to answer some questions for world-renowned wrestling journalist James Nation. Thanks for the questions, James, and I will do my best to answer them as truthfully and as best I can. Right. So the first few questions are relatively in around the same thing. When did I start wrestling training? I started wrestling. I started making rings and wrestling, I suppose, when I was like 13, 14, so like in the 90s. But I started training as soon as I discovered a pro wrestling school, and that opened up in like 2002, so late 2002, when I figured out that there was a wrestling training school in, there's Dolly, in Ireland, and yeah, so I started training in late 2002. Where that was NWA Ireland. Yeah, very proud to have come from NWA Ireland. Has a long lineage of professional wrestlers who done some great things, and that is actually where the Fight Factory would have began. So I'm still hanging out in the same place as I started off, which again I'm very, very happy with. Who trained me? Fergal Devitt, who is Finn Balor, and Paul Tracy. They started NWA Ireland back in the day, and yeah, very proud to say that I wrestled and was coached by very professional and very successful wrestlers. First promotion, that one's easy as well, NWA Ireland. NWA standing for National Wrestling Alliance, which was a worldwide kind of a thing. Still kind of is. There was NWAs all over the place, and we had connections all over the world, so that was kind of cool. But there was only two promotions in Ireland at the time, and that was NWA Ireland and IWW, Irish Whip Wrestling. And why I was in NWA Ireland is because I saw the ad for that first. Yeah, so things could have been very different. Right, what's my finishing move? I use the Alabama Slam, a sit-down Alabama Slam, which I haven't seen many people use. But is it a finisher? Because so many people have kicked out from it. But yeah, I've used that to finish people. Right now, in my tag team, PB&J with Phil Boyd, one of my favourite people in the world, we use a double pile driver to finish people off, which is devastating. My favourite opponents. See, first few questions are easy, and then you start hitting me with some really hard ones. My favourite opponent, it's too hard to say. Any day could be a different answer. I've had some really fun matches with a lot of different people, but I don't know, some standouts. Recently, probably the Saviors of Destiny. Back in the day, would have been Finn Balor. Fergal Devitt. I've wrestled so many people. Charlie Sterling is always a standout on what would have been one of the more fun matches. Grado, had a great match with him. Anything that was kind of out there, I've had great matches with those opponents. Yeah, and I'd love to wrestle Gene Money if anyone wants to bring that one up. Yeah, favorite match, again, that's an absolute doozy. It's hard to say. Like, there's been a lot. I've loved my stuff with OTT in the stadium. There's been some doozies that I've had in the Tivoli. Some of the matches, like recently against the Saviors in the Fight Factory, that was a match and a half. Like, there's just ones, like I can go as far back as 2003 and say the broken neck grudge match with Fergal Devitt. I've had some great matches in Team Mega with Danny Butler, right up to my recent ones with PB&J, my main events in Phoenix. I loved the few matches with Steve Savage. Yeah, I've had a lot of matches over the year, a lot of concussions, so can't remember them all. And then, what is your character? That's a That's a big question. What is my character? I suppose I've been doing this for 20 years, and over the years it's kind of evolved um, to a point where like a lot of people add to their character over the years, and I feel like I've taken away, I've stripped down, and I've tried to streamline as much as possible. So Justy, I suppose, is just an extension of who I really am. I just get to play it up in different places. So yeah, Justy is basically just who I am turned up to 12 because it's one better than 11. But yeah, depending on where I wrestle as well, you get different versions of the character. So in Fight Factory, I get to have a lot of fun with my best pal Phil. You know, in NLW, it's you get the crazy, insane version of Justy. Titanic, I definitely get to be more creative. And yeah, in the likes of RCW in Cork, I get to show my talent for talking, I suppose. So yeah, my character is just kind of me, but turned right up, and depending on where I am, you get a different version of that. But yeah, so those are the questions. Sorry that this is after taking 6.5 minutes, and my outro will probably run it to 7. Thanks, James, for taking an interest and caring about what I have to say. And for anyone who's listened this long or watched it, thank you. Thanks for being a fan, and yeah, see you next time someone wants to ask me some questions.